Welcome to another episode of the Family Freedom Caller, brought to you by the Texas Homeschool Coalition. Unlock a world of support and advocacy for your homeschooling journey with the Texas Homeschool Coalition membership, and join our thriving community of homeschooling families and gain access to invaluable resources, legal protection, and exclusive benefits. With THSC by your side, you're not just homeschooling, you're homeschooling with confidence and peace of mind. Don't miss out. Become a THSC member today and empower your homeschooling adventure. In today's episode, we're delving into the fascinating history of homeschooling in the Lone Star State. From a time when homeschooling was heavily prosecuted to the present day, where Texas is renowned as one of the most homeschool-friendly states in the nation. Texas is often known for its rugged individualism and strong sense of liberty. It has long been celebrated as a pro-homeschooling state. In fact, it's often argued that Texas has some of the fewest restrictions and regulations on homeschooling in the entire country. Many families have even relocated to Texas to embrace the freedom it offers in raising and educating their children without undue state influence. In fact, sometimes I have homeschoolers who move to Texas and they say to me, "Tim, you guys are all about liberty. I don't understand this." So the question is, how did Texas evolve from a state that once prosecuted homeschool families to one that now champions homeschooling as a fundamental right? Let's take a trip back to the early 1980s, a time when Texas authorities were prosecuting families for the simple act of homeschooling. People are often shocked when I make that statement. The state's attorney general at the time questioned parents' qualification to raise and educate their children at home. Shockingly, over 100 families were prosecuted, with about half of them losing their cases in the local justices of the peace courts, as the state argued that homeschooling violated truancy laws. It's hard to believe that Texas was once one of the most challenging states to homeschool in. So how do we get from that hostile environment to the homeschooling-friendly Texas we know today? The 1980s saw a legal battle unfold as homeschoolers in Texas united and sued the state of Texas in a landmark litigation known as the Leeper versus Arlington ISD case. After winning in the local court, the fight continued for almost a decade through the appeals process, ultimately resulting in the Supreme Court of Texas upholding the lower court's decision in 1994. Following that legal victory, which, by the way, was one of the first state Supreme Court cases in the country, and it had impact across the nation because of that fact. So in 1995, local school districts started demanding that homeschoolers present their curriculum for approval. However, THSC worked tirelessly with the Texas Education Agency. In fact, that story is an amazing one because the Texas Education Commissioner of Education at that time was a former Lubbock Independent School District superintendent that I happen to know. I met him on a plane one time and explained our problems, and he said, what do you think we need, Tim? And I said, well, the TEA needs to clarify this policy. He asked me to submit a proposal, which I did, and the TEA adopted that policy, which continues to this day. So the Texas Homeschool Coalition, representing the Texas homeschoolers, also addressed various discrimination issues, including matters related to driver education, college admission, child protective services, and through legislative efforts, we succeeded in changing laws to accommodate homeschool families and to end discrimination. As legislative battles unfolded, there arose a need to educate elected officials during the political campaigns about the importance of homeschooling and parental rights. So this led us to that educational outreach during the campaign process, and it became a crucial element in our process of defending homeschooling and parental rights in Texas. In 2010, THSC stepped into the courtroom to defend a homeschool family in Fort Worth involved in a custody case where homeschooling was a central issue. THSC later represented families in CPS cases, fighting diligently to clarify the fundamental right of parents to raise their children as they saw fit as a cornerstone of homeschooling rights. Legislators and attorneys continue to ask us, you guys are about homeschooling. Why are you involved in these CPS cases or these CPS legislative issues? And our response was that homeschooling, our homeschool freedoms are based on the presuppositional foundation that parents have a God-given fundamental right to raise their children as they see fit. And if parents lose that right, then we lose our right to homeschool. So over nearly 4 decades, THSC and advocates for homeschooling have worked in the political campaigns. We've lobbied in the legislative efforts. We've challenged agency policies administratively and engaged in litigation in the courts. And this collective effort has solidified the fundamental rights of parents and homeschoolers in Texas. As we reflect on our journey, we are reminded of a famous quote attributed to Ben Franklin after the drafting of the U.S. Constitution. What kind of government have you given us? Franklin's response was, reportedly, a republic, madam, if you can keep it. Similarly, we cherish our freedom in Texas to homeschool and for parents to raise their children as they see fit, but we must remain vigilant, ready to defend it, so that our children and our grandchildren can enjoy the same freedoms that we have today. So we thank you for standing with the Texas Homeschool Coalition and the Family Freedom Project in this ongoing effort, whether it be through political engagement, legislative support, administrative action, or legal defense. Together, we protect the sacred freedom to homeschool our children. So as you embark on your homeschooling journey in the Lone Star State, remember that your freedom is worth protecting. Join us in safeguarding the future of homeschooling and parental rights. Together, we can keep the flame of freedom burning bright for generations to come. Thank you for listening. If you found this episode valuable, please share it with friends and fellow homeschoolers. And until the next time, stay strong, stay informed, and thank you for helping us keep Texas families free.